How you doing, guys? Today we have a big step on the Rugg carpet cut resurrection. I got the little 4 horsepower Briggs & Stratton engine, which I rebuilt in prior videos. I got it mounted to the engine stand. I did have to make a couple one modification to the engine stand. I had to drill a couple new holes for the 2 back bolts for this engine to be bolted down. The front 2 bolts, or the bolts on this end near the bore, they're not there, but I'm not going to be revving and using this under real load. I'm just trying to start it up, break it in lightly, and then theoretically feel confident enough to put it on the tractor. So bolts were drilled and bolted down. The throttle, as all my engine startups, is makeshift at best. I do have my handy dandy emergency kill switch right here, so if we have to grab that spark plug wire, we can rip that off to kill the motor. In theory, the kill switch here that I typically use is non-functional because the kill switch apparatus or grounding mechanism is built into the carburetor on this engine, so we'll be theoretically using the engine's kill switch. We won't be using the auxiliary gas tank either, as this engine has the piggyback gas tank attached to it. For oil, I got Rotella 30, straight 30 weight with some Lucas break-in oil mixed into it. It's filled up, it's ready to go. For fuel, I am using a non-ethanol, race fuel, I guess you want to call it. It's 94 octane, about half to 3/4 of the way full. Outside of that, it should be, a fairly easy start, but you never know. One thing I am going to have to do is there's no fuel in the Jet carburetor. I call them suction lift carburetors. So obviously there's a little diaphragm right there. Sorry. There's no fuel in there. So we got to get fuel drawn up the carburetor. What I usually do is I'll spray a little bit of brake cleaner or starting fluid into the carburetor, pull it, start it. I'll do that maybe 2 or 3 times. And that usually gets enough suction to draw fuel up the little fuel rods or the fuel tubes that go down into the tank itself. Ultimately, we'd like to get it started and then just kind of with the brake cleaner into the carburetor to keep it running, and that'll draw the fuel up, and then before you know it, like maybe 3 or 4 squirts of the brake cleaner in order to keep it running. You don't have to use the brake cleaner anymore. It'll start drawing from the tank. All right, that's a lot. Let me get this thing outside. Let's get it situated, and we'll yank the cord. You can't make that stuff up. The camera fell when I was just starting this engine up. Unbelievable. Runs really good, sounds really good too. I just got it, the throttle is a pain in the back end, just like all my engine starts. I really got to redo that, but in general, that's pretty much how it started right up. You can hear a little fart. I am going to tweak the carburetor a little bit, but overall, I can't complain how that thing started up. It sounds great. So let me just do a couple things here. I'm going to go ahead and throttle it up. Hopefully it works. Let's see here. Sorry about that. It's the throttle, I can't get it to go down to idle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it down to idle and give you a little taste of what it sounds like at idle. And there's the idle. Sounds real good. I'm real happy with this. My throttle setup is really fighting me. It doesn't act. This actually is fine. It's the bends in the cable. So I'm just going to let this thing run for another 20 minutes. I'm going to, or a little less than 20 minutes. I'm going to bring up the idle, or bring up the RPM and lower the RPM, bring up the RPM, lower the RPM, you know, in like 3 or 4 minute increments. And then we will let it cool, retorque the head, and we should be all set to install it on the tractor. Can't complain about that. While the engine was still hot, I went ahead and dumped the oil so we can take a look. We have 25 minutes of run time on this. Now don't be alarmed by the reflection that you're getting. It looks real silvery. It's not. There is some silver in there, obviously, because it's a slap oil system, right? There's no oil pump, there's no oil filter. So on a brand new startup of one of these engines, you're going to end up with some shininess in there. There's no way around it. Oh, the other thing too is I never clean the inside of this pan, so that's also hurting it, hurting the look. But overall, I mean, I'm pretty excited about that. That looks real good. So I'm not worried about it. Now, like I said, I used Shell Rotella 30 and some Lucas break-in oil just to run it for the first 20 minutes. I am going to refill it, but I'm going to refill it with this Valvoline race oil, 30 weight, high zinc content, because this oil is designed for old engines with flat tappets and stuff like that. So it's just better, in my opinion, to run this oil in an engine that you care about, right? I rebuilt it. I want to run it for, you know, however long I want it to survive. I'm not going to beat the crap out of it, but, you know, I just want it to live. So with that, I am going to go ahead and button this up. Going to add some oil to it, and we'll take a look and see. Oh, got to let it cool down and retorque the head. I did have to pull this little side cover off the carburetor. For whatever reason, there was a pretty good fuel weep all around this thing. So I had to pull it apart. Here's the diaphragm. It's a brand new diaphragm. I don't know why it's leaking, but I'm going to go check the flatness of this side cover. It appears to be flat. I mean, I put it on a little piece of steel right there. A good flat piece of steel. But I'm going to go put it on my surface plate, take a look at it, see if there's anything going on with it. And I think I have another diaphragm downstairs, so let me go get that and we'll install it. I'm not going to start the engine up again right now because it's off the stand, but I'm just going to set this up to hopefully not have any issues with it. So I put a new diaphragm in, snugged down all the bolts, made sure the spring was in correctly. So I'm fairly confident that this should be fixed. With the oil change and the diaphragm fixed, hopefully this thing is all set and ready to rock and roll. I haven't bolted the engine in yet. I will do that very shortly. One of the things that was interesting is I had the mower deck itself to the lowest setting, and you actually can't do that because look how tight the muffler is. It actually hits that bolt thing in there, or the pinch nut that holds the deck in place. It actually hits it if it's all the way down. Didn't know that. Scratched the paint on the muffler, but oh well, I guess, right? So that's one thing. I did ding the air cleaner, unfortunately, but in general, we have the holes. Whoops, we have the holes lined up over here, at least in the back. Where is it? There it is. And there's the two holes in the front. They're a little difficult to get. Well, not this one. This one's not hard to get to, but the other one on the other side is pretty difficult to get to. But I'm not going to bolt the engine down right now. I am going to go ahead and just leave it there for now, get the transmission in place, and then bolt the motor and the transmission down at the same time. So that way, if I have to make any adjustments or anything to that effect, or something's out of alignment and I need to fix, I can get that done. But overall, that went fairly smooth. I can't believe it. So with that, guys, this is a video. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate all your viewership on the little Rugg carpet cut. We are getting down to the final stages of this particular project. Hopefully, well, the goal is to have it out for the fall Zagray tractor show in Colchester, Connecticut. So hopefully I'll have enough, I should have enough time, but hopefully everything just kind of runs smooth like this engine project and we'll get it done. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, like, share, and subscribe. And if you would, please ring that bell so you know that my next video is posted. And as always, until we get to the next project, you have a nice day.